Hello, everyone. Hope all is well today. Glad to have you back again. This is Joanna's Christian Corner. Please press the like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not done it already. I would really appreciate it. Well, I'm blessed and I pray that you are as well from the last video that I did. Um, my in my neck of the woods, it's what they call it's violence against women. It's that time of the month. Abuse. Yeah. So I just wanted to do something that personally, let me tell you something, saints and friends. My life is is a story. So I used to wonder, Lord, what is my purpose? Why was I born? Why was I created? Because nothing ever seemed to go my way. You know that same story. I don't know if you've ever been there. You've maybe been blessed, but I call it a blessing because I have a testimony. And in my testimony, when I share it with you, you may be going through it. Then I can tell you what I did to help you make yours a softer walk if I could do it. So that's what my videos are all about. And I'm always inspired by something. And let me get to this and tell you just what month this is in my neck of the woods. Okay, let you know what we're dealing with. It's called Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Alaska. That's my neck of the woods, Anchorage, Alaska. I live in Anchorage, Alaska. And I shared with them a story on the page. And let me see if they load my story up. Because it was so, I think it was so drastic. I don't know if they thought it was real or they said, is this a real person or what? They couldn't believe it, I don't think, the way it looked because it happened and it happened. Yes, it was real. So I want to just see if I can find this story that I did on here. Let me see. Let me see if I can do that. And then we're gonna start from where I can see where I took and I tried to upload it for people, but it didn't take all of it. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can tell you the story myself. What about that? Yes. Okay. Well, this video, when I do my videos, I'm out 9 times out of 10. I am inspired by something when I do a video in this channel. And it's domestic violence month. That's what we are awareness month. We are observing it here in our state, in the great state of Alaska. So it didn't escape me. That didn't escape me. So I want to just say If you have a story that you'd like to share, you want to, tell your story, feel free to send me your story. Just if you don't mind others reading your story, because that's what we're here to help one another, and it is um, the behavior month, abuse month, and domestic violence. If you have any of that you would like to share, and you don't mind sharing it, you can do so in the comments. Yeah. And just what you do is when you're sharing them, I would appreciate, for the privacy of others, that you just don't call names. You can just say my husband and I, and don't involve no children. You might can just say children, the word children, but don't call names, or um, not even where you live. Just say what happened. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that. Okay, so I'm so glad to be back here. It's always a pleasure to sit, and it's an honor to have you as my subscribers, and I call you my friends, to sit and chop it up. When I do a video. So listen, whenever I want to talk about something, I look in scripture, see if I can find any scripture to back up or verify anything that I might have been going through, like that. So I went and I started from what I used to hear about this mean man named Neville. Neville was a mean man. Never had a beautiful wife, but he was mean. And not only was Neville mean, his neighbors knew he was mean. Her friends and her family knew that Neville was a mean. And if you want to read about him, you can find the story about Neville in First Samuel. Yeah, in First Samuel, talk about Neville in 25th chapter. And let me see what other. And then it's the 25th. Then you can find it in First Samuel 20th chapter also. Yeah. So I guess you say, well, is she flipping Bibles at this age and time? Yes, I am. Uh, I love the sound of flipping of the Bible. Okay, so yeah, you can find out about abuse and this man Neville. Yeah, in the 20th chapter and also the 21st chapter. Just a good read. So just read in there and hear about Neville. Okay, let me see. I was reading on my phone in the Bible, you know, about him on the phone. So, all right, let me see what else. Oh yeah, Ephesians. And you know about Ephesians now. We already talked about Ephesians. You could just go to Ephesians, where I was reading at. Ephesians. Here it is right here. Well, let me tell you, 4, it says, therefore the prisoner of the Lord beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness, and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as we called in one hope of your calling. Um, and it's 4:21 now. If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus. Jesus was talking about love. And in the 5th chapter in Ephesians, it reads as, be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love as Jesus also hath loved us and hath given himself for us as offering and sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not covenant, but rather giving of thanks. And so I wanted to thank God for his holy word, first of all. I'm always grateful. And so it all comes to this. And then I'm going to get into my story. We cannot make choices for someone else. We cannot stop someone else's emotional abuse. That is a choice that the abuser must make for himself or herself. But we can refuse to accept without arguing or making demands on that person. The most extreme cure for emotional abuse is separation. Because I say extreme because we all are Christians I'm talking to Christians today really. Not being selfish, I'm just talking, this is the Christians channel. I named it that, and sometimes you just accepting that all that, let them hear, have ears to hear, let them hear. But I am praying that my like-minded brothers and sisters are listening to me, because you are not exempt from this just because you are saved, sanctified, and full of the Holy Spirit. So that I want you to know this, okay? But the most extreme is separation or divorce from that. Okay, because we seek out our counseling in the church. We go through everything. Like myself, I can only speak for me. I went through everything like there was to go through in order, being in order in my church. Um, I did everything, and now mind you, I have more. It's more than just um this time of the month, violent prevention. It's more than that. It's more than that. Yeah, domestic violence. Yeah, it's more than domestic violence. I don't know why I cannot. Uh, it's just so because it's so many. It's so much. That's why I can't. It's so much um, that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking. Let me tell you. You know how when you're saying one thing, you have to say another to say one thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but I am dealing with something here, trying to tell you about a abuse that happened to me, domestic violence, okay? Domestic violence and abuse. See, let me tell you, those things are all like twined together, and but they're different stories. You have mental you need mental, because I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a Christian and a mental health advocate. See, so my mind, I want to tell you about the abuse, and then but my mind is leaning to mental health because I was just doing some mental health stuff. And then I just can't say just abuse because we got people being abused that are not married. But and then when I say domestic abuse, domestic to me means you're coexisting together as a family, like domestic. That's your husband and wife or your spouse. Domestic violence. That's it, like a home. Domestic is home. So I'm a Christian woman, and I'm trying to say, when I say domestic violence, I got to remember realistically, everyone live together is not married. Now that's just being real, you know. Um, so it's got to be like abuse. Yeah, domestic, whether you're married or unmarried. I can't just say married just because it's a Christian channel. Realistically, whether you're living with someone or you are married to that person, I want like no man's soul to be lost like that. So I want to get this straight. So I'm just going to like tell a story, and wherever my mind lead me, y'all just rock with me. Now, please, if you're coming into the video and you have no idea where I'm coming from, the video is going to be around abuse, violence, and I even might lead off into mental illness because, as we know, it stems all from that. So says the Bible, and it don't call out biblically mental illness. It doesn't even say abuse in the Bible. So you have to like, what it's saying. You know what it's saying. And so anyway, that's this is what we're talking about. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Now I'm going to get on into a story, and may God be with me while I tell this story, and may He touch someone. If you're in this situation, may you hear something I say, and for in the name of Jesus Christ, you will rectify this, being in the church or not, being saved or unsaved. I am just doing a video on my channel because I'm all about love in people. Okay, I was in an abusive relationship, and I was married, so it was domestic violence. And I knew before I married that he had violent tendencies. He showed them to me. But and I did something about it because I never had that to happen. And I did something, I separated myself and I hadn't even married him yet. But I got out of the situation. I did. And then I was back in it again because it's a cycle, especially when you're dealing with mental issues that you have not rectified in your life. See, in my case, one thing come with the other. So if I'm talking, you just listen, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe to my channel because I cannot separate the two of them: mental illness and abuse and violence. They all go the same with me. So I knew, I saw the red flags before I was married to the man. Yeah. Now, let me tell you, if you even, before you marry a man, let's get real here. Let me just talk to you in no other way. I didn't try, I've tried to go around the corners, but there's no other way but to talk to you today. So here I go. I knew before I married and before he was my husband that he had violent tendencies, and I tried to rectify it by leaving and stuff, but I wound up going back. Even before, and I was pregnant, yeah. But after, I married him, and anyway, and I was abused, yeah, and in silence because I dared not scream out and holler because it would make things worse, and I didn't want to involve my children, so I took silent beatings, yeah. But they would see the black eyes and busted lips and stuff, but I'd always make stuff up. And then as time, and I was in it for 5 years. Now, I can still count on one hand in 5 years because I must say that like I'm not going to make light of what he did, but it wasn't like he didn't straddle across me and just beat me to a pulp. It was not like that. It didn't take but one hit for me, one slap, one shove real hard or something like that. But it was in such force until it scared me to death. I knew that had it in him to kill me. So that let you know, even though he didn't straddle me and just go at it beating me or choking the life out of me or whatever, I knew from the licks he would hit me like a boxer might have hit a boxer. The very first time that it was really done, it just left marks in my face, and someone say, "My goodness, who slapped you?" So that was slapped hard enough. All 5 fingers were on my face. The next time I was hit so hard until all my face was ruptured, and I had to go to the hospital. My sinuses were ruptured, and I did leave again. I even had a legal separation, and the judge said, if you sleep with your husband, it's off, and I slept with him again. So that was, and he was told God and everybody, I want to take care of this woman. I'm going to love her. But I thought I could change this man, and that I could love him right. And I will be the one that he will see the light. So then after that, that hit, that wasn't all. One time I remember I got a job that he didn't get, and both of us went on the same job. And I was just in the midst of a conversation, and I got a lick so hard from my husband until I thought was hit with a brick. Yeah, the lights went out, so I must have gone out because, as I think about now, I heard like it was over. That's how it was. I heard like out of nowhere a brick dropped on my head. The lights went out, and like I was laying up against the door. So I was knocked out, and one lick knocked me out. hmm And I remember when I got out of the car when I did get home, he didn't do it at the house. He did it in front of his brother's house in the car. And I had a child in the car with me. Blood was everywhere. Blood was everywhere. But like I say, I never was straddled, beat, kicked, drug, crossed the sun. So it's all kinds. He didn't have to do that but once. No, because every time he did it, he would knock me out. So that's, it didn't take but one time. And it was so drastic until if he had done it another lick, I probably would have died. Then it would take so long to get healed from that. But soon as and then you hear promises. You hear promises um, that they won't do it no more. Now, do you think what was happening to me was acceptable in the eyesight of God? No, it was not. So this is what I don't understand. Nothing he did, being my husband, was acceptable to God. What he was doing to his wife. So nowhere, nothing is written could tell a woman to stay in that situation and die from the hands of their husband. I don't care where it's written. You would have to show me that it's my duty to lay and be killed at the hands of my own husband. That is not gonna happen. Mm-mm. But anyway, then it whether it was one lick or two, it got worse. I remember when my own husband ran me off the road with his car because I slammed the door and I got angry with him. And I went and left my house and was going to work and I slammed the door. Simple things like that just could, really make them, go off and stuff like that. So um then I remember one time, this was not the last, but the second to the last. I think he said the spaghetti was a little too salty. Well, the fact it wasn't the spaghetti, it was that he wanted to go out and have extramarital affairs, and he needed a ticket to do it. So the dinner was ruined, and I ruined it. And I remember him grabbing my hair and wrapping his hands in my hair so hard, leading me to the door, and he rammed my skull against a door jamb that my skull fractured. And over the course of the years, I grew another skull. I had a I had a skull concussion, and God was with me because the doctor said they never saw nothing like. They want to do a video, and I had the surgery done. Tell you how long it was. I was walking around like that, but they felt something during the course of the years, doing having physicals when they feel your head, and they would always feel that spot where they said, "Do you know you got?" And I said, "Yeah, I got that one time when my husband hit my head up against a door jamb." So I remember when they started to watch it. They watched it for about 7 years, but this was way after. Yeah, it was in the 80s when that happened, and it was in 2000 and something when I had a cranioplasty surgery, when they had to go and cut my skull to go into that and cut all of that out. And they say the skull was the size of a baby's skull, a newborn baby, because I started to walk leaned over from the weight of the cranial past. I grew a whole nother skull. So I was abused, and it lasted. Those things are lasted. And that wasn't the last time. We had been I separated, and I took him back after the separation, and I refused to make love to him because it was too early, and I'm thinking he getting up to go do something. Next thing he was walking around to hit me so hard until his fist. I told you I never was beat. Just one lick. That's all it took. That one lick with him hitting me so hard with his fist split my eye open where they had to come and give me stitches. Blood was everywhere. And so um I thought I cut these notifications off my phone. They're so disturbing. But anyway, then things happen that I have a memoir, and I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna write them. I'm gonna put them in a book or ebook or whatever because it's detailed, and it started like I called it the 7 days tribulation. I have it all here in memoirs, and I've rewritten it and rewritten it and rewritten it. I named it 7 days tribulation, suicide, and murder attempt. And it's been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten, and more got to be added on to it. Yeah, to complete it because I'm free now, and that none of that that's in there, it will never happen to me. So I'm not complete this because something else has happened, since when I was married and I got a divorce. But all that need to be added into that because abuse head got many heads. The violence is one thing. Okay, abuse is in a class abuse, but then you can be abusive mentally and physically or both. But then you won't go to jail for being mentally abused, but you can go to jail for being physically abused. But then mental abuse, it hurts a person mental psyche where on down the line, and then 9 times out of 10, even while you in that abusive relationship, is because of a mental behavioral abuse that happened to you long time ago, maybe in your childhood, that caused you to overlook this person or give him so many chances. What causes a woman to give someone that split her eye open with one fist of a fist hit, or fracture her skull, or steal all her money, or rupture all her sinuses until her eyes shut, she couldn't see, or slap your own wife so hard, all your 5 fingers. You know what causes anybody to stay in a relationship, saved or unsaved, with such a monster as that? I was so afraid of this man until if he was scratched, I would duck, because I thought he was raising his hand to backslap me, because PTSD was when he reached his hand up alone, I remember, but I was out, knocked out. That's when it was like the brick hit me and all this was ruptured. Then you deal with shame and disgrace and your family and everything. So domestic violence, you living in the home with this person. 9 times out of 10, this person can be abused right in the next room and you would not know it, because they make you shut up. You can't scream, and if you even try, the way they look at you and tell you to shut up, you're going to shut up, because you're looking at, look like Satan himself, because it's not the face of Christ. It's not the face of someone that loves you. It's not the face of someone that smiled at you and put a ring on your finger. Mm-mm. And profess to love you to death do you part. And then one day, when you finally get enough nerve, and he sensed this, he senses that, oh, this is it. She is done with me this time, for real. No more. And you get up enough nerve to tell him you're getting divorced. That's when he start to plan to take your life. I guess he say, not in this lifetime, you will not live without me. That's what happened to me. It was on a Halloween night. I went through hell for 7 days. That's why I named um, my memoir, 7 days of tribulation, the murder, suicide attempt. This man kidnapped me. So much transpired from Halloween night until the night he took his life, until I was like I was in a whirlwind. 7 days I went through this. Till the final night of the showdown, I danced with the devil. I danced with the devil. A man that I never would raise my hand to fight back, because he towered over me at 6'4" and 250 pounds. I'm 5'4" and I was 120. But that night, I fought for my life that seemed to be the coldest night because that state does not have cold like I felt that night where this happened at. But it was so cold, it was right after midnight, right after the cock crowed right over. I had the fight of my life. All I know, my husband looked at my face and he said, I knew you could fight. I knew you had it in you. When I'm begging, I don't want to die because all I can think about my children growing up without a mother. So I jumped 2 stories off over, I leaped over a balcony, landed on my feet. I had supernatural, I didn't know nothing. I was out. I had an out of body experience. It was mind boggling, and it was a night I'll never forget. That was the fight of my life. But I had gone around and told all my neighbors everywhere, to and fro, if you hear anything, see anything, call 911 the minute you do, because my husband's going to kill me. That was the reason why I got saved. He was so mean to me, and I was such a good wife. I was a kind, loving, gentle woman that has been proven over so many times again that the men that profess to love me have taken that kindness for weakness, and they just want to take my life. But he took his life on that cold night. 7 days, it was like that. And then I was not going to let it happen again. No. But when my mind started churning around after he succeeded, I was left here and I raised my children all to grown, to they adulthood, and I thank God for that. I thank God for that. So that's that. And maybe then I'll tell you the story of why I'm a mental health advocate. Because these things don't just happen. You don't just, when someone hits you or beat you or hurt you and harm you, it is something that makes a woman stay. It's fear for one, and fear overrides. And then if the person is no doubt about it, it's got to be mentally ill to do it. You know, anybody that harm anyone that's less stronger or whatever, almost a disabled or disability on a person of that size, and you swear to hold up a hand in front of God to say, I'm gonna protect this woman or this person, whoever you marry. In these days, you profess before God that you're gonna protect them, but you don't. So I say, do not, do not stay there, because that is not love, honey. Nobody deserves that. And It is not going to get any better. No, it's not. It doesn't end pretty. Never does. So I suggest that you do some research on how to get out of abusive relationship. Domestic violence is no happy home living in violence. It only can end in one way. You can either separate, divorce, and be free, or you can die at the hands of your abuser. So may God be with you. Do not forget to press the like button on my videos to push me through the algorithm and help me grow my channel. And if you dealing with any kind of domestic violence, I beg you, get out of it. Don't live your life like that in fear and being abused. And don't subject if you have children, don't subject them to it. You could be the next victim. Someone could very well be burying you. And it's not unlikely. And it's not far-fetched or none of that. No. So this is Joanna in Joanna's Christian Corner. And I'm so glad that you spend a little time with me. Until the next video, I want to say God bless you. Bye bye.